Welcome back, guys, to episode number 2 of the Tony Baloney podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Tyler, and we're going to have a very interesting episode today. We have a lot to talk about, crazy topics, crazy week in fantasy, crazy week in football, crazy game with the Vikings and the Bills. And off the rip, I just want to let you guys know, Justin Fields is not a good quarterback without his rushing. That man is great because he is the next Michael Vick, but he is not a good quarterback passing the ball. He has let you down passing-wise every game of the season. He has thrown over 200 yards one time, and it was week 5. The last 5 weeks, 179, 151, 123, 167 yards passing. But boy, is he special. He is the next Michael Vick because of the way he runs the ball, and it is awesome to watch. How you doing, Tyler?
Everything's good. Everything's good today. Went probably gonna go 3-3. Fantasy, not a horrible week, not a good week. Justin Fields though, almost winning us our dynasty league again.
On accident. Now,
On
for those
accident.
that didn't watch the first episode, me and Tyler are on a 2-quarterback Superflex Dynasty League together, and we've been tanking. We are 2-7 trying to get Bijan Robinson, and probably need the first pick to do that. So we're trying to get the first pick with the worst record. We're throwing games on purpose. But Fields, man, he's keeping us afloat on accident.
Our team is better when we were tanking than when we weren't. I'll say that. We put on more points. It's pretty crazy.
Yep,
But yeah, Justin Fields, one time over 200 yards passing, but he uses those legs, and he's putting up points. The guy who traded us, Justin Fields, actually texted me today. He said, "Looks like you won that trade, buddy." I said,
well, we'll see. It's all long term
yeah,
in Dynasty. You can't react to such a short sample size. What's been 3 games, 2 games since the trade?
Yeah, 2 games.
Too short of a sample size, so we'll see long term. Fields has taken a lot of hits, but he's stayed healthy. Knock on wood. You got to stay healthy for the whole, not only in Dynasty, for the whole season, your whole career. You got to stay healthy. So we'll see.
Speaking about healthy, real quick, wide receivers today: Juju Smith-Schuster, Jerry Jeudy, Cooper Kupp, all went down. All big losses. 2 out of 3. I don't have Cooper Kupp on a team, but Jerry Jeudy, Juju Smith-Schuster. That injury might have cost me my matchup. Probably did. He was going to have a good game. He was going to have a good game.
Well, we'll get to all those injuries for sure, but as someone that owns Kupp in 3 leagues, it's been rough. I think I won most of those games. Don't ask me how, but I'm just worried long term. It looks like he might miss a few games. But Sean McVay did say he avoided the worst case scenario. So good news, bad news type of thing. We'll see what happens in the next few upcoming days. But hey, the double champ is here, ready to talk about our first topic. We already brought it up a little bit. Justin Fields. Now, Justin Fields was the quarterback 24 after the first 5 weeks of the season. He was quarterback 24. Now, going into the next week, he will be quarterback number 4. Already a top 5 quarterback. He flipped on a switch. Crazy how amazing this man has turned out. The rushing production is unbelievable. He looks better than Lamar did when Lamar broke the record. He looks like prime Michael Vick, and man, I'm excited to own Fields, not only in Dynasty, but in redraft as well. How do you feel about Fields rest of the season?
I'm happy to have him. I think the combo of Fields and Lawrence is a better combo of Murray and Stafford. That's how it's been looking right now. What'd you say, QB4?
Yes, he'll be QB4 after this week.
QB4, and I think Lawrence is probably going to be around QB9, QB10. So before, I think Murray was QB6 and Stafford was QB22 before this week. Obviously, they didn't play this week, so I'm liking Fields. He looks great with his legs. Like you said, the passing will develop. Kind of reminds me, Josh Allen, his first couple years and in the year, he used his legs.
What about Jalen Hurts?
Jalen
Rookie
Hurts, yeah.
Jalen Hurts. That's what he reminds me of, because Jalen Hurts was such a good runner, but the passing was terrible. You were one of the people that thought, oh, Jalen Hurts might not be a starter, when it comes to the long term. I
Yes.
never thought that, but
I was originally high on Hurts when I was watching him during his rookie year, during the last, whatever, 6, 8 games he played. I thought he looked very good.
he won me one of these belts.
Yeah, he looked very good, especially fantasy wise. That was one big miss that we had. But,
Absolutely. But hey,
can't get in the past.
They acquired AJ Brown and he turned it around. Passing wise,
Mhm.
he looks like a legit pocket passer now, and that's the key, especially when you're thinking dynasty. You can't have somebody running the ball as much as Fields has been doing and expect him to keep that up while staying healthy for the next 10 years. You need him to develop a pocket presence and be able to make these
Mhm.
passes. Now, maybe Chase Claypool, Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet's not enough. So maybe next year they get somebody better, a draft, free agent. We'll see.
He's still only 23 years old. His passing will develop. At the end of the
Absolutely.
day, he's already, he didn't even have a full year last year, and look at him this year, halfway through the year, looking like a top 10 quarterback in the league.
For
So
sure.
Justin Fields, high hopes. Everyone has high hopes for him right now.
Yep. So I got a little game that I want to play with you. So It's called the Would You Rather. I'm sure we've all heard of Would You Rather. So my Would You Rather is going to be between Justin Fields and other quarterbacks right now in fantasy. Now, obviously, I said Justin Fields is going to be quarterback number 4 after this week, but that's what a terrible start. Like I said, he was through 5 weeks of the year, quarterback 24. Obviously, he looks like a completely different person. He flipped the switch. I don't know where this came from. I couldn't tell you why he wasn't running the ball the way he is the first month of the season. That was beyond frustrating as a Fields owner in super flex and one quarterback leagues. It was hard to watch. So now that he's flipped the switch, I want to get your opinion on who you'd rather have between Justin Fields and some of the elite guys. Now, this is not dynasty, just rest of season and redraft.
Before you go, who are you starting? In that trade you just acquired, you starting Deshaun Watson when he comes back, or Justin Fields?
Oh, definitely Fields.
You start Fields.
Watson with 2 years off of football, I think he's gonna be very rusty.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
I did acquire Deshaun Watson, J.K. Dobbins, and Justin Fields in a trade recently. That's what Tyler's referring to.
All right, let's
And
play
the
this.
reason I had my person that I traded with throw in Watson was because Fields has a bye week coming up. So I need a bye week replacement for Fields. So that's what I want Watson for. But otherwise, I'm rolling with Fields. Okay, so we're going to start from the top. Josh Allen or Justin Fields the rest of the season?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. Okay, I agree. You said that pretty confidently. Now, he has been turning the ball over. We'll get to that later. But, the elbows seem to be okay, right? Like, he seemed good. I remember I said the last podcast we did, he's going to play. They're going to risk him. They want to win this game. They're going to lose first place if they lose. And they lost. They risked them. It ended up being a lose-lose for them. All right, let's go down the list now. Pat Mahomes, Patrick, $500 million money man Mahomes, or Justin Fields, rest of the season.
Still going with Pat Mahomes.
Me too. I actually traded Fields away in another league where I had Mahomes, and I still feel good about the decision.
He's too
Mahomes,
good. He's too good.
He's too good, and he's safer. He's not going to knock on wood now. You never want injuries to happen, but who's more likely to get hurt, Fields or Mahomes? Obviously, it's going to be the guy that runs more, Fields. So now we're going down the list. Now this is where we start to get, this is a debate. Lamar, the rushing king, or Fields, the rushing protege?
Lamar doesn't look too good. I want to look at Lamar's fantasy points in the last.
So in 6-point per passing touchdown leagues, Lamar is 4th in total points. I can bring it up per game for you, and per game, Lamar is 5th.
Lamar Jackson. I want to look at it. Let me look at him right now.
All right. So while he's looking it up, I'll tell you right now, I do love Fields. What he's done the last 2 weeks is great. I don't think he's going to sustain it. I'm not saying he's a trade candidate or a sell high. I think he'll average about 20, 25. But I like to play the safe side here. I'd take Lamar just because he's more proven. I think Lamar will get going as the weather gets colder. He'll run more. They won't throw it as much. I like Lamar.
So this is interesting. Lamar has not scored over 22 fantasy points in the last 6 weeks.
Yes, I remember I
But
was telling you
that's
he's
yeah.
struggling.
So, but that's opposite of Fields. Fields started off, Lamar started off strong
Yes.
and then got worse. But if you look at the schedule coming up, you got Carolina, Jacksonville, Denver, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Atlanta, Pittsburgh. Those are pretty good matchups for him. Carolina's a weak team. Jacksonville's not that strong of a team. Pittsburgh's got a decent defense, but still not that strong of a team. Atlanta's all over the place. I'm gonna disagree with you and go with for fun, go with just the Fields.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. I mean, I just like I said, I think Lamar's safer. He's got more of a pedigree, whereas Fields, you're really banking on what 2, 3, 4 games of what we've seen recently. The sample
But
size is small.
last week he didn't throw over 200 passing yards, but he did throw three touchdowns.
Yes, he did. As
So
it helps when you're in a 6 point per passing league compared to a
mhm.
4 point per passing league. But still, it was a great performance all around. It's just a nitpick on my part. I think without his rushing ability, we wouldn't even be talking about Fields right now. 3 touchdowns or not, we would not. He would be a free agent in most leagues besides 2 QB leagues. I just love his rushing potential. I mean, that's what you really in fantasy, a quarterback that runs,
Mhm.
chef's kiss. It's the best you can get. All right, so now this is another interesting one. We got Jalen Hurts or Justin Fields for us.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. Okay, so you're that
He's
much higher on
consistent.
Hurts.
He's very, very consistent. The most he scored this year is 33 points in a game, but he's averaging, I think, 24.2 points a game, regular 4 points per passing touchdown, 6 per rushing touchdown. I just think he's more consistent on a better offense. But Justin Fields seems like he has the higher ceiling. So I mean, if you want to play it risky, Fields has in our 6 point passing touchdown league, he scored 48 last week and 43 this week. So you want to play risky on Fields, but I think Jalen Hurts is a safer option.
I agree, and I think you did bring up a good point talking about the playoff schedule. And we might be getting to the point now where the next guy I bring up is somebody that I might be looking at the schedule and saying, well, if I'm going to be a playoff team, what are they playing week 15, 16, 17? But so far, those 4 quarterbacks we named, I'm taking all of them over Fields without a doubt. Now, number 5 for me is the 4th quarterback based on points per start, and that is Joe Burrow, averaging 26.2. Who do you take?
That's an interesting one. Joe Burrow, he's my quarterback in one of my leagues, and he's started off slow, but he's been good. And I think it all depends if Jamar Chase comes back week 11, week 12.
Yeah, he's been great. Joe Burrow has been great, but that's a good point you bring up with Jamar. I think the reports are saying that he's looking to come back. They didn't put him on IR.
Mm-hmm.
So, based on just an educated guess, I'd say he's probably 1 to 3 weeks away. So you'll have him in time for the fantasy playoffs if that's what you're worried about.
Burrow's safer.
You're going Burrow?
He's safer if Jamar comes back.
Yeah. So, but what about right now? You don't know if Jamar's coming back. You taking Burrow or are you rolling the dice with Fields?
I might still stick with Burrow just because he's safe.
I agree, but this has been the hardest one for me to answer. It's a flip of a coin here. I think Burrow is just slightly safer, and Burrow does have that high ceiling that Fields has. He might not rush, but Burrow can throw for 5 or 6 touchdowns, which Fields cannot do. So
But he can get in the end zone with his legs. He does use them occasionally.
he can, but he's not 120 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, but the passing game is why his ceiling matches Fields, but I think Burrow has a higher floor, which is why I slightly take Burrow because I still have PTSD from the first 5 weeks of owning Fields. You didn't own him during that stretch, right?
No.
Yeah, so trust me, it was a headache, and I was
we could have had him.
Yeah, we could have. That's a story for another day. But I was making desperate trades for Derek Carr. It was just sloppy, and I regret those trades because I wish I just stayed patient, but that's how bad Fields look at first. So the next quarterback in line is Tua Tagovailoa. Got the two
Tua, Tua,
speedsters.
Tua, just because he's got those guys.
Okay, this is where I draw the line. I'm taking Fields, no hesitation. I want the rushing upside there. I'm not a Tua believer. I think Tyreek and Waddle are carrying him.
Mhm.
I love Fields' ceiling is so high. I'm taking him over Tua for sure. Very interesting that you would take. So now that I'm learning all this love you have for Tua, you're taking Tua over Lamar, huh?
Right now, yeah.
Wow, okay, that's interesting. All right, just to see how far you go down here. Taking Kyler, quarterback number 7 per game, or Fields rest of season.
Well,
Assuming Kyler's healthy.
we just traded Fields, so I'm gonna go with Fields.
Okay, you're playing with a bias, huh? Okay. I think that's basically the end of the list because after Kyler's Gino, you're taking Fields over Gino. You're taking Fields over Cousins,
Over Herbert.
over Herbert. Yeah, Herbert. We'll get to him. So, all right, that was a fun little game of Would You Rather. Now let's move on to the next topic from the Bears Lions game. Cole Kmet, 2 receiving touchdowns. I want to know, is Cole Kmet someone you can trust at the terrible tight end position? Rest of season, can you trust Cole Kmet?
No, you just said Fields has only passed for 200 over 200 passing yards one time. Absolutely not.
Absolutely, but he has been looking for Cole Kmet recently a lot. Cole Kmet with 2 touchdowns today alone. It's something that other tight ends have been looking for all season.
I mean, I just think, with the Chase Claypool, Darnell Mooney, I don't think so. He has had 2 good games in a row, but I think maybe he scores against Atlanta, but the Jets is where they draw the line.
Okay, yeah, maybe Sauce Gardner will shut down that whole receiving corps listed. But like you said, Claypool, Mooney, I think they might be helping out that take the pressure off him and get some nice coverage because Fields. I don't know if you watched the game today, but Fields hit him on a wide open like play action. Because they're so worried about Fields running the ball that Kmet just sprinted down the field and was wide open. And Fields laid a nice throw in there, and there was no pressure whatsoever. He was just, yeah, he could dance his way to the end zone. And that's the coverage that he's getting. I might start trusting him, but I want to see it a few more times. I agree with you.
It's hard for me to watch all the games. I don't have a Sunday ticket, so I watch Red Zone as much as I can. I only have one big TV here.
True.
So,
And then you use your laptop too, right?
yeah.
Just to give the viewers a little knowledge. So I have a very nice man cave set up to where I could have 9 screens to play 9 different games at once.
I wish I had that.
And yeah, no, it's really nice. I'm blessed. I love the setup, and I honestly get to see a good amount of every single game because
How do you even focus on all these games at one
all
time?
the commercials. There's in football, it's 1 play for 30 seconds plus the commercials. I mean, half the times I'm sitting there, there's 9 games on, 7 of them are in a commercial. So all I'm doing is watching 2 games. One doesn't play 30 seconds later, they don't do another play, so I switch to the next screen. It's easier than you think, and I just love it. I get to see parts of every game. I get to see the touchdowns. They always replay the touchdown. So if I miss it, I can go look, get the scoring update on my phone. I'm like, okay, I gotta watch this game. And that's basically what I did with all the games today. And I saw a lot. Now, one thing I wanted to bring up was what I was watching the whole game. David Montgomery versus Khalil Herbert. That is a true backfield that is up for debate. Right now, Montgomery has been the lead man week after week after week, but we seem to see a little bit of a split here. Montgomery, 9 rushes for 37 yards compared to Herbert, 10 rushes for 57 yards. What do you think about this backfield?
From what I remembered, Khalil Herbert was questionable. He got injured today.
That I don't know. That could definitely play a role in giving Montgomery more touches if it's true.
Let me see.
But I know Herbert had a good amount of his touches throughout spread out throughout the game. It wasn't just like, oh, the fourth quarter or the first quarter.
So Khalil Herbert sustained a hip injury during that game. So you got to monitor that. I think David Montgomery will still see a little bit more carries, but I think Khalil Herbert looks better from when I watched.
Khalil Herbert looks better, but now if Khalil Herbert was hurt and he had 10 rushes compared to Montgomery, who was healthy, only 9 rushes, do you think this is starting to be the turn of the leaf now? Because Herbert, like you said, has been better, undeniable. More yards per carry, looks more explosive, cuts better.
No.
No, you're trusting Montgomery, huh?
Yeah, just because he's been the guy there for a couple years.
Okay, I disagree with you here. I own Montgomery is one of my most drafted, if not my most drafted running back this year. And I do not have a lot of Khalil Herbert, and I wish I reversed it because I think Herbert is going to take that job away. Not that I think either of them are a must start, because I think they will both split the work. Plus, Fields steals a lot of the work, which is gonna hurt for touchdowns. It'll help them yards per carry wise with being efficient, but I want the touchdowns, and that's what Fields steals. I
So
think Herbert is taking the job though.
so split backfields. Let's go on to the Bucks because I want to talk about.
Oh, wait. No, not yet, not yet. We gotta
I
finish
want to talk about
there.
the Bucks bad.
We'll get to every game. Let me take control. Hold on. We're not done yet because we didn't even talk about the Lions once. We got to stay in order. I'll bring up the Bucks next. Okay, so you want to talk about split backfields? Well, here you go. The Lions, the ones who barely beat the Bears today, even though with Fields going off, the Lions still won. Can we trust DeAndre Swift going forward? You're shaking your head no, and I haven't even read the stats. You know how many rushes he had today?
Not many. What do you have, like 8 yards or something like that?
6 rushes total for 6 yards.
6 yards, yeah.
Bailed out by a touchdown.
Touchdown, yeah.
Jamal Williams or DeAndre Swift rest of season?
Jamal Williams looks like the guy. You know, how many? I haven't looked. How many points did Jamal Williams have? I know he scored. All right, I believe he scored.
Jamal Williams, I think he did score. Let me pull up the numbers now. I know he out-touched Swift, and it wasn't close. Jamal had a total in half PPR now. He had 11.9. 1 touchdown, 16 rushes for 59 yards. 16 rushes compared to 6 for Swift.
He had 11.9 in full PPR as well.
Yeah, no catches. Swift seems to have that third down role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting because everyone thought Swift was going to be the guy drafted 2nd round, but Jamal Williams looks pretty good.
I'm taking Jamal the rest of the season as well.
Yeah, I have to agree with that too.
They don't trust him. He's been such an injury-prone player over the last few years. I think their coach, I forgot his name, Dan Campbell. It's the coach. Well, we're not worried about that. We're fantasy players here, not the head coach enthusiasts. We really can't trust Swift to stay healthy, so that's what the coach is saying. So we're gonna give Jamal the bulk of the work. Jamal's been getting all the goal line carries, which is the valuable touches you want to get the freaking touchdowns. Swift did get a lucky touchdown today. I don't expect him to repeat that, though. He barely gets the red zone touches. Give me Jamal Williams over Swift all day. Swift is easily up there with Najee and Pitts as one of the biggest draft busts of 2022. Now, speaking of draft busts, what's the opposite of a bust? I don't know, a boom player, and that is the definition of what Amon-Ra St. Brown has been. Amon-Ra flashed it today. He looked like a superstar again. No touchdown now because Jared Goff is not the most reliable, but 10 catches, over 100 yards. What do you think of Amon-Ra rest of the season? Where do you rank him? Top 10, 15, 20,
15,
top 5?
And I'm a little worried when Jameson Williams comes back.
More like if.
Comes back for playoffs. If.
Yes, because the Lions could easily tank. There's no need to play Williams. They know Williams is special. He's going to be great. He was amazing in college.
He's had some bad games and he got injured in, I believe, 2 of them. So I mean, even his bad games, he scored like 13 points, I believe, like 9 points, 10 points, something like that. Let me look. Let me pull up his actual numbers.
Yeah, no, Amara had a few more games where they were worse than that. I know for a fact, but I think he went through that injury phase
So
where
yeah,
he,
right here he had 13.9, 9.5, and 22.1. And I believe he got hurt in the games where he scored. Uh, I'm not sure if it was 13.3 or 5.8. I know he got hurt in the game where he scored 1.4. So I mean, besides that 1.4 game and the 5.8, there was the other ones are respectable fantasy numbers, not boom like like that 39 point performance that he had. But he was drafted in the fifth round. For you to put up 13, 20 points a game, I'm happy with it.
absolutely, I love Amara.
Mm.
Even sometimes he was a 6th round pick, and I think he's one of the biggest steals of the draft.
Yep.
Up there, like Jalen Waddle,
You
and I think
we
I'm
were
taking
talking
Amara
about
top 10 rest of season.
mm.
I love him.
We were talking about him preseason. You thought he might be a bust.
Yes, a lot of the fantasy community thought he was going to be a bust because there was T.J. Hawkinson, James Williams was coming in. A lot of his big games last year was without T.J. Hawkinson, without DeAndre Swift, who are both coming in the season healthy. Obviously, Swift has not been healthy all year. Hawkinson's traded. James Williams is hurt. DJ Chark is hurt. Everything is looking great for Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's clearly one of the best pass catchers in the league. Give me Amon-Ra and redraft dynasty and everything. Buy that man. His his buy low window might have that ship sailed, but I think if you could get him at a decent price, we're not overpaying. I'm still buying him. I love him. Rest of the season.
Yeah, someone listed him as likely to trade last week, and I didn't send an offer. It's hard to trade in that league. No one really wants to trade, so I didn't really bother. But maybe I should have.
Yeah, we could definitely drop a video one day to talk about trading advice. How many trades have we pulled off in Dynasty? What, like 8 so far?
Yeah,
I'm a trade addict, fanatic. I've been playing fantasy for 17 years, and trading is a huge part of fantasy. It doesn't happen in enough leagues, I'll tell you that. And that's something we'll get into on another video. But let's move on to our next game, and we're going right back to split backfields, the Bucks and the former split backfield of the Seahawks. So, what do you think about Mr. Leo? Another hip injury for a running back.
so now you want to talk about the Bucks.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I woke up at halftime, so I watched the second half. Fournette had 14 touches for 57 yards and a touchdown, and then he got injured. So they were pretty much split at that time. He looked good. They finally ran the ball. They finally ran the ball. I don't think the rookie looks that much better than him though. I don't even think he looks better than him because this was the first week both of them were even able to run the ball. Uh, I think if Fournette was in there at the time, I think he probably would have gained the yardage that uh, White gained. But I am a little nervous about Fournette because he's been putting up like 10, 11, 13 points the last couple weeks, and the touchdowns have been saving him. So I'm definitely nervous, and I think I'm not sure how his hip injury is, but I think he looked okay. He just had ice on, and he was still on the sidewalk. I know Tom Brady liked Leonard Fournette, but I definitely something I keep an eye on. I think he'll still get more of the touches, but Rashad White will take over the backfield if not this year, maybe next year.
Yeah, so I've been monitoring this situation for a while as someone that owns Fournette in a few leagues, and I've been waiting for the bad news of Rashad White starting. Breaking news
Well,
from Adam Schefter.
he actually did get the first snap, so technically he was starting.
So this game is actually the only game of the whole slate of games today that I missed because me and you, me and Tyler both work overnight, so I didn't get home till probably 5 hours before the game started. So I had to catch up on my sleep. So I unfortunately missed the whole game. But I think I got home actually. When it started 9:30, I went to bed probably 2 hours before the game started. So I couldn't wake up to watch that without going insane. But I looked at the box score, and this is just what I've been seeing from the Bucks week after week after week. Rashad White has been getting more work every single week. The coaches have been talking about wanting to get him involved more. Leonard Fournette has been seen on the sideline, frustrated, visibly mad that he is not out there getting all of the snaps with Brady and that Bucks first team offense. I think it's almost Rashad White's season. If he can just get that job for 1 week, he might not look back. And Fournette might be one of those situations where someone gets hurt, loses his job because he's hurt, because the other guy just comes in, looks better. We'll see going forward. If Rashad White is available in your leagues, use your fab budget to pick him up. Use your number one waiver claim that you've been saving. Add him ASAP, even before the injury news comes out. We're not doctors, but hey, take the risk.
My brother dropped him before the game.
Oh,
Don't
that's
know why.
wrong.
He had to pick up a kicker. So and then
Yeah.
he dropped him. He dropped him Saturday or Friday. I didn't see it. I definitely would have picked him up.
Bad timing. That's like someone
Yeah.
dropping Ken Walker right before Rashad Penny gets hurt.
Mhm.
You always want to hold on to your handcuffs. Don't drop Madison.
Yep.
Don't drop Rashad White. Don't drop any of those guys. It's truly just
Yeah.
one of those things you got to wait it out. And if your patience paid off if you held him, if not, you're gonna have to spend all your fab budget or your waiver claim and hope you get it.
I'm
So
not happy about that backfield though. I want
absolutely
Fournette.
not.
No.
I think you could still start Fournette the
Mhm.
rest of the season if he's healthy next week. I'm starting him in
Not a
4
buy, so he'll get 2 weeks rest. He'll get
Yeah, so that helps a lot. Hopefully he can come back and play. I'm in a 14 team league where I have him as my RB2, probably maybe 3. I am forced to start him until otherwise, but in a 12 team league, I'm still starting him every week as a flex unless your team is stupid stacked.
I think he'll be okay for 10 to 15 points a week though. With
Yeah,
his pass catching upside.
yeah. I hope so. We'll see. Now moving on to the other team. Geno Smith saved by garbage time today. Geno Smith looked terrible the first 3 quarters. He really couldn't get anything going. I'm a Jets fan, see my Jets jersey. I was having flashbacks of New York Geno Smith when he was on the Giants and the Jets. He looked terrible. Metcalf couldn't get it going. Ken Walker couldn't get it going. Lockett couldn't get it going. But he was saved by the 2 garbage time touchdowns in the fourth quarter. I don't know if I trust Geno as a top 10 QB rest of season. Scratch that. I definitely don't trust him top 10 rest of season. What about you?
I'll say this. I watched like the last 5 minutes of the first half. And then I watched the whole second half. He looked a lot better in the second half, especially I believe he had a fumble or an interception, something like that. It was a while. It was like 13 hours ago. But second half he looked better. I think Geno will turn it around. I got to look at their schedule, but he's been good all year. He wasn't necessarily horrible, so
Oh,
I still think Geno will be okay.
you started him in a 12 team league? Is he a top 12 QB to you?
What are my options?
Just is he top 12? Assume you're at the bottom of the ladder. Guys like Kirk Cousins, Kyler,
Depends on
Field
the
are
matchup.
all.
I'd probably start Kyler Murray over him. Kirk Cousins, he's so hit or miss sometimes. It's like I don't know. I'd have
I
to see
don't.
the matchup.
I'm taking all those guys over Geno without hesitation. I don't think Geno's a top 15 QB. I think he's barely top 20. I don't trust him whatsoever. I haven't bought into this 8-week run he's done. I still think he's terrible. I don't know how he's doing this. I truly think we're going to see a big regression from Geno in the second half, and the first 3 quarters are what I expect to see going forward. It sucks to someone that owns Lockett, Metcalf a ton, but this is what I feel in my gut. I don't trust Geno Smith whatsoever. Now, moving on to the Geno Smith's running mate, your boy Ken Walker, your start of the week, 10 rushes for 17 yards. Now, this was the second time he's faced a top 10 run defense fantasy-wise, and he has shit the bed rushing the ball both times. He did not get up to the points he was projected to in both games. How do you feel about Ken Walker, the guy who eats up on garbage teams?
He had 13.2 points, so we had a discussion about this before. I was happy with it. I still won my matchup by 70 points with him, Foreman, and Fournette as my starters.
Well, how about Yahoo? Did you win Yahoo or did you lose it because of Walker?
I lost because of Derrick Henry and Jerry Judy.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, you can shift that blame to a little bit of everybody. I think Walker was projected 16.
16.1 points on ESPN.
Yeah, so maybe 15 and a half PPR. So he was slightly under that. He was saved by the catches. But out those garbage time catches, he's barely getting 10 points, which is disappointing for someone we thought was the top 10 running back rest of the season. I still have him borderline top 10, but now I'm starting to get worried that he was only beating up on the bad defense.
Well, we'll see. I think he's very talented, and I think he'll be okay. But we're gonna have to go into part 2 of this video.
Absolutely. We'll talk about the rest of the games later in part 2.
All righty.